Hi again, everybody, and welcome back to our view of high-performing teams and great teamwork. My name is Tim Schneider, and I'm the founder of Aegis Learning. I brought along one of my favorite office pieces today, and I'll bring that into play in just a few minutes, hoping that some of you recognize it, and for the rest of you, I hope you Google it and find one. Today we're going to talk about a dynamic or a piece that isn't often associated with teamwork, and that is forgiveness. Forgiveness becomes important because as team members accumulate baggage and they accumulate transgressions, and I'm not even talking about big things, I'm talking about little things. As they accumulate that and just hold on to it and hold on to it and hold on to it, it influences our relationships, it influences our trust, it certainly influences how we communicate with each other, and it has a really kind of devastating effect with overall how we choose to work with each other as well. And when we think about those things, we realize that the only way out of that is to regularly grant forgiveness. Now, I'm going to talk about forgiveness in two frameworks today. The overall impact in the working environment, and then also the very personal impact that you as an individual team member can get from the benefit of forgiveness as well. But before we do that, let's talk about what forgiveness is, because there's a lot of misnomers and a lot of stigma associated with that. So forgiveness is not about forgetting. We humans do not have a erase button. I mean, that sure be handy. I love to rewind chunks of my life and just get rid of it, but we can't. Those memories exist. But what we can do is prevent those memories from influencing how we interact with folks moving forward. And that's truly what forgiveness is. Forgiveness is that solemn promise that no matter what goes on, I'm not going to allow what you did yesterday to me influence how we interact today. And forgiveness is also not about erasing accountability. Accountability still exists. I mean, you still pay the price, pay the penalty for your actions if they were, really, really bad and wrong. But forgiveness means once you pay that price of accountability, I don't dredge it up again. I've been around a lot of senior leaders, and I'm pretty sure you guys have been around these folks too, that, once you get on their radar screen, you never get off. It's not only do you never get off, you're never given a path to get off either. And, you just stay there, and literally you're condemned from this, event that happened in 2003, and they remember that, and they lock onto that, and that's how they always look at you and always judge you. That's really damaging. And a little bit of forgiveness would go a long way in those kind of regards and be very culturally and team healthy as well. Now, I mentioned I'm going to talk about this in two regards, both in the team dynamic and the individual dynamic. Forgiveness from an individual standpoint is not about another person. It really is about the freeing of you. When I coach folks, and when I spend a lot of time in coaching and have some in-depth coaching interactions, we talk about this. And it becomes one of those very freeing pieces when you can grant forgiveness and say, you know what, I know this wrong occurred. I know the accountability was there. And I promise, solemn promise from this moment forth, I'm not ever going to bring that up or have it influence my interaction with you again. Every interaction is going to be fresh and new and based on the now. That's also kind of very much a mindful practice, if you will, as well. Now, from an organization and team dynamic, what that does is, people that carry around baggage in the working environment rarely carry it around and bear it all on their own. They have to, share their baggage. Sometimes they have to play a little baggage one-upsmanship with one another. That has an overall devastating effect on morale and motivation in the working environment, and that just plain and simply needs to go away. The other thing that team members with baggage do, that the unforgiven baggage do, is they try to form alliances. They try to bring people into it with them. They try to, create kind of this bad version of West Side Story in the working environment where, I recruit you to my side and they recruit you to their side. And it really does become unattractive really quick, where some forgiveness would go a long way. Here's my best advice related to forgiveness. Note, write down. I know some of you think that's kind of silly. Write down what you have to forgive. It doesn't have to be big things. Take 2 or 3 days. Go back to it a couple of times. Make a forgiveness list. And then next to each item, write a date certain that you're going to forgive it and never have it influence again. And don't worry, some of the bigger things that appear on your list, it'll take you a longer time to forgive those. You can't just do that automatically and neatly just by saying it's so. Some of those you're going to have to process and get your arms around. Others, you should be able to let go of very, very quick. Now, back to my office prop today. I love this thing. This is an Etch A Sketch. I know that there is a generational disconnect about what this is, but you know, when I was a kid, this was really the toy of choice for a lot of years, for birthdays and Christmases and all those things. The great thing about an Etch A Sketch is, first of all, it allows a great place to unlock some creativity by turning the knobs and creating a work of art. But the best part about an Etch A Sketch is when you're done, when it's all over with, you can shake it and start over with a blank screen. Well, you know what? Forgiveness is exactly the same way. Every day that we go to work, we add little pieces to this Etch A Sketch. You know, maybe somebody grumps at us. Maybe somebody missed a deadline that impacted me. Maybe, you know, it can be the smallest little things, but, you know, by the end of the day, we got a whole picture on this thing. Shake it. Shake it. Grant that forgiveness, let it go, and start tomorrow baggage-free, full of forgiveness, and hoping that that forgiveness comes to you when you need it as well. When we're together again, we're very close to wrapping up our series on high-performing teams and teamwork. We have a couple of competencies left to work on, and then I'm also going to take one episode and answer some of your questions. I've gotten a lot of questions and comments coming in on email and a variety of formats, and I'm going to share those, the ones that really have some value. So I hope you have an absolutely terrific week, and I look forward to interacting with you again soon.